A man-turned-insect, the Metamorphosis of Gregor Samsa. Franz Kafka's Metamorphosis begins with a jolt. Gregor Samsa, a traveling salesman, wakes up transformed into a monstrous insect. This bizarre event is our entry point into Kafka's world, a world where the line between reality and nightmare blurs. Gregor's metamorphosis is more than just a physical change. It's a profound psychological and social transformation. Gregor's new form, repulsive and alienating, reflects his feelings of inadequacy and alienation. He is trapped, both literally and figuratively, in a life that feels meaningless and burdensome. His transformation is a physical manifestation of his inner turmoil, his sense of being an outsider, an insect in a human world. Kafka masterfully uses this surreal situation to explore the human condition. He throws us into Gregor's disorienting new reality, forcing us to confront the absurdity of existence. We are invited to question our own sense of identity and purpose in a world that can often feel cold, uncaring, and utterly strange. A family in crisis, isolation and rejection. Gregor's transformation sends shockwaves through his family. Initially, there is shock and disgust. His family struggles to comprehend what has happened to him. His father is horrified, his mother distraught, and even his sister, Greta, who initially shows him some compassion, eventually recoils from his insect form. As Gregor's inability to work becomes apparent, the family's dynamics begin to shift. They are financially dependent on him, and his transformation throws their lives into disarray. What was once familial love and concern slowly morphs into fear, resentment, and a desperate need to distance themselves from him. Gregor, once the provider, becomes a burden. He is isolated in his room, unable to communicate or connect with his family. Their rejection, their inability to see beyond his physical form, deepens his sense of isolation and despair. He is no longer Gregor, their son and brother, but a monstrous creature to be feared and loathed. The slow fade, Gregor's decline, and the family's adaptation. Trapped in his insect body, Gregor experiences a slow and agonizing decline. He is unable to care for himself, relying on his family for even the most basic needs. His room, once his sanctuary, becomes his prison, filled with the remnants of his former life and the growing stench of his decay. As Gregor deteriorates, his family undergoes its own transformation. They adapt to their new reality, finding work and adjusting to life without him. Initially hesitant, they grow increasingly accustomed to his absence, their fear giving way to indifference and even resentment. His sister Greta, who once cared for him, becomes the most vocal advocate for his removal. She sees him as a threat to their fragile stability, a constant reminder of their misfortune. The once loving family unit has fractured, their bonds irrevocably broken by Gregor's transformation. Section 4. A death, a release, the tragic end and its aftermath. The inevitable finally arrives. Gregor dies. His emaciated body discovered by the cleaning lady. His death, while tragic, brings a sense of relief to his family. They are free from the burden of his care, free to move on with their lives. The family takes a trip to the countryside, a symbolic escape from the darkness that has enveloped their lives. They bask in their newfound freedom, their conversation filled with hope for the future. Their reaction to Gregor's death, though unsettling, raises uncomfortable questions about our own capacity for compassion and empathy. Is their relief justified, a natural response to years of hardship and emotional turmoil, or is it a chilling reflection of human selfishness, our tendency to prioritize our own well-being over those who are different, those who no longer fit into our neat and tidy definitions of normalcy? Section 5. The Weight of Existence. Reflections on Kafka's Metamorphosis. Kafka's Metamorphosis is a haunting and deeply unsettling tale. It is a story about alienation, about the fragility of identity and the human capacity for both compassion and cruelty. Gregor's transformation serves as a metaphor for the dehumanizing aspects of modern life, the ways in which we can be reduced to our economic function, our worth measured by our productivity. The novella also explores themes of existential dread and the search for meaning in an absurd world. Gregor's struggle to understand his transformation, his desperate attempts to connect with his family, reflect our own anxieties about our place in the universe. We are all, in a sense, searching for meaning, for connection, in a world that can often feel cold and indifferent. Kafka doesn't offer any easy answers to these questions. He leaves us to ponder the deeper implications of Gregor's transformation and the chilling indifference of the world around him. The Metamorphosis is a story that stays with you long after you finish reading it. Its haunting imagery and unsettling themes, a stark reminder of the fragility of our own humanity.